When you kind of took this job, did you go back and try to look at every game from last year?
No, I really didn't. I just looked at the 2 or 3 to see how similar it was. And now as we got, every week then when we played the team, I go back and look at what happened a year ago and that. But I like to make my own opinions on people's playing ability and that when you take over a job. So no, I didn't look at all of them. I wanted to make my own evaluations.
Did you watch any of the Arizona game?
Yeah, I did. And that was one of the games that was sent to me to look at, and so yeah, I did.
What was your kind of reaction on it, or how did you kind of assess how they played defensively in that game? And kind of the defensive game plan, Coach Leach said that there were a lot of situations where if one guy didn't do his job, it would lead to a pretty big explosive play. And I think there were 8 explosives in that game.
Yeah, I don't know that I look at it, game plan wise and that. That's not for me to determine. I wasn't here, and so like I say, we'll just line up in ways that obviously you got to contain the quarterback, and if you don't, you can have big days throwing and running it, and so we're trying to make sure we get everybody in a spot to where they can make the plays that we're asking them to play, and obviously I think one of the big things about defense is knowing where to miss. If you're going to miss a tackle, knowing where to force the ball, and just that alone I think would have helped them a lot a year ago. Of that fact alone would have eliminated some of the big plays, and so that's kind of how we're approaching it.
Past 2 weeks, your defense has only allowed 20 points. So you kind of sensed maybe a heightened sense of urgency, or do you think you've just been executing well these past 2 weeks?
I just think you get better. Good teams get better as the season went along, and we got hit with some things. I didn't do the best job early on, and the thing I'm most proud of is like in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's an amazing deal how well we played in the fourth quarter, and it's true. If you usually, with somebody has an offense like we have, if you play well in the fourth quarter, you're going to have an opportunity to win. And we've done that every game but USC.
I know you guys don't like to talk about specific targeting calls, but kind of after Skyler's call, Jalen said you guys kind of looked at targeting as a team and how to kind of determine what is and what isn't. Is that something you guys continue to look at throughout the season? Is that becomes kind of more of a call?
You preach it all the time. Yeah. The issue is there's such a gray area in how it's called, but I will say that the rule's a lot better since at least somebody gets to look at it in the box. At first that wasn't the case, and so I'm still, I'd say half of them I'm against dismissing the players. I do. I'm one of them that believes it needs to be like the NBA and a level 1 and level 2. You can tell which ones are malicious and you can tell which ones aren't. And so, yeah. I mean, we preach about it all the time.
Is that also difficult because it seems like a lot of times they aren't malicious and you're just kind of in a position already where your head happens to be where their head is?
Or, there's drops, I mean, we've had the crossing routes are an example of, you're breaking to make the tackle on a crossing route, he drops his head down but if they don't launch and they're not leading with their head and all that, that still may happen because you got fast athletes moving around fast space, and so that's why I wish they would look at it as 2 different types of offenses, but I totally agree with trying to eliminate the use of the head and get that out of the game.
Was there an increased emphasis on turnover last week in practice, or was Saturday just kind of a byproduct of a few good things happening?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, we work on it every week, and some teams are good at not turning over the ball, and we've had instances in some of the other games where we had our chances for a couple and just didn't finish it. But good. I mean, just happened that everything came together last week. Played hard, got a few of them knocked out.
What's kind of the difference between Arizona's offense this year and last year with a different head coach, and Tate's not also quite as mobile with injury, and they're doing some different things with JJ.
Yeah. There's some little variances in there, but it's all off of the quarterback, and his ability to extend plays with his legs and things like that. At the same time, a lot of the running game, I mean, it really is pretty similar to what they did a year ago, and so I think just like us is. Me being new, having a new staff, I do think the last couple of weeks they've played better, and now having an off week to have fresh legs and all that is that we'll get their best. So we got to be ready to go.
Kevin Sumlin came here as a GA for 2 years, and that's kind of when he switched from a defensive coach to an offensive coach. Did you have any point in your career where you considered switching to offense or had an offensive job that made you kind of consider moving over?
Yeah, in high school, a couple of years I coached in high school, you get to do both sides of the ball. Enjoyed it, but I've always enjoyed the challenge of stopping other people. It's no different than kids. I think there's a mentality that either you want to be on one side of the ball or the other, and my mentality is I've always enjoyed the challenge of stopping people rather than worry about getting first downs.
I know you haven't been with Peyton for most of his career, but he's going to break the school record with a 50-second game this weekend.
Yeah, very deserving.
What has he meant to you and kind of your short time here?
Just leader, and you're new, and to get that time there and plays hard. So the best leaders you have are the ones that play hard and do what they're supposed to also. And so he's done a tremendous amount for the team this year to keep us together, but also to be here that long at WSU. It's an awesome accomplishment. Well deserved for a great kid.
Coach, do you have maybe a message for some of the students who are maybe overlooking this game and trying to get home early for Thanksgiving break, and maybe to reconsider that choice?
We wish they'd all stay as much as possible, but you think back of when you went to college and all that, and you've been studying here since August sometime, and you get a week off, and just like that, they play the song, everyone wants to go home, and you get Thanksgiving, a big break, but I'm sure there'll be the fair share of kids that are football fans and want to enjoy a great football game. And so, obviously like as many stay as possible, but also we're starting the holiday season. There's no better place to be for the holidays than home.